Hey, Stoney here with another game of Mechabellum. If you want to see how a mass air strategy can work, despite the opponent investing heavily into anti-air technology, here's the game for you. Let's go. At the bottom here, we have Kaiser Fons playing as a cost control specialist, and he's up against Veritatis playing as a quick supply specialist. This is I think around high 1500 MMR. Now, right off the bat here, our rep player is going to play a bit of asim aggro with the two spiders. And being a quick supply specialist, he quickly brought out the wasps in the first round, anticipating probably just going to be a lack of AA, and he would be right. And our blue player is playing a very interesting build here. 5 arc lights with 2 stormcallers. I've actually never seen something like this, especially at round 1, but this board could develop into something very powerful. This is the foundational units for the 201 build, which consists of range arc lights, fire collars, melting point, and just a whole lot of chaff around. But I'm not sure if this is actually going to work out here for our blue player. Clicking on the arc light, I do see the anti-air ammunition, which turns the arc light into AA units. They're not the greatest against wasps, which is why I never run them on this technology. But if you already have this many arc lights, and if your opponent are insisting on getting into air, that might be an option for you. Round 1 goes pretty much as you expect, with no AA on the blues board. Round 2 will have our first round of reinforcements. Improved forts could be very interesting. Not only is going to give blue player a lot of tanking power. Right now, red does not have any damage dealing units at all. So improved fort could actually be great. But instead, he's going to go with the shield drop, a much safer option. For our red player, interesting. Now it's taking mass-produced wasp, having already unlocked these wasps. Yeah, and it's going to be triple wasp here. And that's all running into a level 1 arc light with AA. So arc light does 308 damage. Mass produced wasps only have 202 HP, which means the arc light will get multiple wasps for every shot. And because flying units tend to really bunch up, then it could be a problem later on. All right, and it's going to be triple wasp on one side, which means these 2 arc lights, if they survive the initial engagements, probably going to get so much experience. That 1 arc light on the left hand side single-handedly destroying every single wasp before they even get a chance to fire a single shot. Yeah, but right now, though, I think there's going to be a bit of a damage problem. We do have lots of units being targeted at the tarantula, which means the shield, which means the tower might fall. Oh, no, the tower stands. We got 4 wasps slipping through, and here goes the tower, but I don't think the red player has enough firepower to deal with this. Maybe if he gets that arc light, actually. Let's just see. It's a split second. There it is. Here goes all the wasp with that final shot from the arc light. Now going into this, I'm not sure how I feel about the Reds board. I mean, you're already running into the arc lights down below. And yeah, I'm not too sure how this is going to work out for him. These arc lights are just going to get leveled, right? So here's the first unit drop. We see Marksman. I think Marksman is actually really good here. But instead, it's just going to be Phoenixes for our rep player. Able to pop in these arc lights very quickly. Mass-produced wasps. I mean, you'll never be able to outrange the arc lights, even if you take range, which he does not currently run. And so it's just going to be energy shield. You have to get in there, do the damage, and then get out. For our blue player, it's going to be 3 squads of level 3 fangs. These are quite expensive as a chaff unit, and it's also going to give a lot of experience for these tarantulas. But they do extremely well against these flying units. I wouldn't put these fangs at the front at all. I'd probably put them behind the arc lights and just buy a few squads of regular fangs and put them at the front, because these level 3 fans, if you give them range, they'll kill a lot of things very quickly. But right now, they're just wasting their life playing as cannon fodders for these spiders. Okay, arc lights are doing work on the left hand side. These fans are tanking those level 3 Phoenix shots, which means the arc lights are going to get in there and take them down. On the right hand side, however, the sheer quantity of wasp, and now shielded wasp, is actually providing enough cover against this arc light, allowing the phoenixes to take them all down. So this round is actually becoming way closer than I thought it should. And with that final shot, we are having maybe a win here for our red player. We'll see. It comes down to these two fans, and it's going to be a win for our blue player. All right, so getting into round 4 here. Another reinforcement cards. I think Sticky Oil Bomb might be really good for our red player if he can keep most of his units grounded here. I wouldn't mind getting some Stonecallers here. I mean, most of the blue players are just on the ground doing nothing. They're shooting without having to move. So having some Stonecallers will actually really move the needle here. But no, instead it's going to be redeployment. We're going to pull that Phoenix all the way back to the side, and we're just going to continue to create more of these wasps. Very interesting. Mass-produced wasps now even getting leveled, which means level 1 arc lights can no longer one-shot them. But here's the bad news for you, buddy. All the arc lights on the right-hand side are now level 2, which means they still one-shot you. Well, 2, because they have to get through the shield first. This is such a wacky game. If I were playing the game as blue, I would just start putting down Mustangs with range, right? Not only they're excellent against Wasp, they're great against Phoenixes due to the sheer number of units per squad. And the only thing you really need to worry about is Tarantulas. I feel like these arc lights, yeah, they got the anti-air tag. I feel like they're a little overburdened at the moment. You might probably want to have a second layer of arc lights just to deal with the wasps that are getting too close. And also more chaff, because right now, once these level 3 fans wear out, your arc light lines start to foul. So, Stormcallers here. This side, this level 2 one is going to get a lot of damage simply because of the spiders. The one on the other side, I'm not sure there's a justification for keeping it. I'll probably start selling that and just put down a whole lot of fans. I think that's a great way to deal with something like this. Like, the only reason these wasps are getting in is because there's no chaff in front of those level 3 fans, and once those are done, the Phoenix picks off the arc lights, which will have no units left over to defend against this wasp. So a very newbie mistake here for our blue player. All right, we're getting into another unit drop. I think the Farseer is going to be excellent for our blue player. And then for our red player, maybe go with the Wraith if you have armor on the Wraith. And it looks like you might have armor on this Wraith. Marksman could also be good. Or you can just sell the Saber-tooth and just put down a whole lot of Phoenixes. All right, so it's going to be Wraith for our red player and Farseer. Farseer is going to help with dealing with these wasps. And also later on with AA. The Wraith now taking armor, so this is a hedge against any sort of Mustang play. So if you're doing AA Mustangs, they are going to be shooting at this Wraith instead of these Wasps. And the same goes with Arc Lights, even though Arc Lights do considerable amount of damage, but with the Wraith having like 20,000 HP right out of the gate, they're going to draw a lot of fire, or at least initial fire from his units. And I'm still just so bothered by the lack of chaff on the Blues board. All right, even more wasps coming down. I think right now in the community, we have a lot of 1500 MMR players who are at this stage without really knowing the fundamental. I think putting down chaff is the number one thing that a new player needs to understand, because chaff not only allows your carry units to live longer, it allows them to gain experience, which is always economical, into your opponent's board. It prevents your opponent's unit from gaining experience, because you don't get much experience from carrying chaff versus like a level 3 arc light. It's just overall a very solid fundamental. So if you don't know how to do that, or if you're not being doing it as much as you should, one of the ways that helped me improve when I was in the 1500 MMRs is when in doubt, just drop in more chaff. Like, it's very difficult to predict at 1500 all the possible unit counters, but it's very easy to just put down a few more chaff. And it works out for me most of the time until I get up to about the 1700 range. All right, so we're gonna have a lot of phoenixes left over here. We're gonna have another round of reinforcement. I see efficient giant manufacturing. I would love to see some forts with AA. I think that's like kind of the ultimate anti-air. Combined with AA arc lights, it should get pretty much all the angles covered. The only real problem is these level 1 rays with armor. If anything, I will probably buy more of these for red because they're just tanking so much damage from the rest of the board here. Elite is now going on to the Phoenix, allowing the Phoenix now to outrange the AA from the Fortress, which is really good. And continue to have not a lot of chaff. I think right now the only chaff clear that the red player really has are these 2 Wraith and these 2 Spiders. Everything else is not really efficient chaff clear. So having just a few crawlers running through the tower, running behind the forts, getting them split, just tying up this whole army here, allowing your arc lights and force to get more volleys out. I mean, that will be a no-brainer, but instead, no, that's not going to be the case. It's still just a few fangs up front, and they're going to die super quickly. All right, so we got spiders coming in forward. I think the goal here is just to kill chaff as quickly as he can. But by putting the spider forward, he is also under attack by the fortress. All right, so no more ground chaff, no more air chaff clear, which means these wasps are all running to his doom. And the only reason this round works so well is because the fortress on the right is actually doing a whole lot of tanking. However, I'm not entirely sure. I mean, we do have 4 Farseers left, which means they are going to do quite a bit of damage. But I almost, like, it pains me to watch the Farseer fight, because every time a unit dies, the Farseer will always have to fire another volley at the dead units. It's just so wasteful. I would much prefer some Mustangs right now. It doesn't seem like we're having much of an issue dealing with those armor wraith. Having some Mustangs after the arc lights have dealt with the wraith is going to be a killer for our red player. Sticky oil bomb gets dropped again. Efficient tech probably makes sense. I think on the arc lights, I mean, most of them are level 2, some of them are level 3. Having a elite marksman on this arc light may not be the most terrible idea. I'm not entirely sure what the purpose for EM is going to be. I mean, yes, you can disable the wraith, but you don't have any Mustangs to really take advantage of that. As far as the Phoenix goes, yes, you can disable their triple tag, I suppose. But when your missiles land from a Farseer onto a Phoenix, you're already killing them. So you're not really getting the benefit of the EM. It's weird with the EM here with no real support behind it. For our red player, just continues to pile on this cheap shielded wasp. I mean, they cost $100 a pop, and they're going to tank quite a lot. I'm surprised he didn't start staggering them. Instead, he's putting them all into a ball. I think that's just asking to be shut down by the Fortress AA. And I'm also surprised that he's not pushing on the left-hand side just yet. This is wide open. We got 3 arc lights defending and nothing else. So I would love to see some variety in this play by just going on to the other side. All right, we have a barrage coming in. Farseer are actually doing quite a lot of work because of his splash. But then again, as you can see here, once the first chaff fang dissipates, there's nothing stopping these phoenixes from killing the arc lights. So imagine if there's like a late arriving fang just popping up here. That would just be so much value. In fact, if that fan exists, this game probably would have ended about 3 rounds ago. All right, we're getting into round 8. Photon coating could be very nice to put on that wraith at the front. I mean, they are getting attacked every single round, so get it to level 2, take photon coating. You will have a great time with that wraith. Super heavy armor is a bit expensive, and also this wraith is not surviving for a prolonged battle. It just needs to survive for the first 10 seconds. So in that case, I think photon is the most economical option. But instead, it's going to be a Vulcan drop. Not sure where the Vulcan is going to be. Probably going to be in this corner here and trying to get tower, but it seems expensive and wasteful. I think the best bet here is probably photon for our red player. All right, more shield comes down, and a Vulcan. This is a terrible spot to drop a Vulcan, because not only is your Vulcan not able to kill many of these units here, it's going to get killed very quickly. One thing that's going for this Vulcan is that it's going to force at least some of these units to turn around. So at the higher MMRs, turn rate could be a real killer. It's the difference between whether your army gets a unit advantage over you or you completely killing them. Because that's a few seconds where units will have to turn from one end to the other. All right. Phoenix are now quad tagged, and with quantum assembly, they can survive a very long time. One strategy you can always use with Phoenixes later on in the game is you can have one squad of Phoenix and just mobile beacon them back and forth. So all of your other Phoenixes are going to engage in a battle. That one Phoenix is going to come in super late, and they're going to serve as sort of a respawn location for all the other Phoenixes that's following in the battle. All right, Vulcan gets taken care of very quickly, and here's the turn, right? Everybody turns super slow. But I think red should still do okay here. I mean, a lot of these wasps will actually get pulled by a side flank, which means they weren't really participating in this battle. But right now, though, I mean, just looking at the sheer amount of units coming in, I think red has a pretty good time. All right, going into round 9, we have Lightning Storm. This is a must-pick card for blue. If you don't pick this card, then yeah, that I don't know what to say about you. Lightning Storm for air units. Air cannot be protected with shields, which means if you put Lightning Storm here, pretty much everything here is going to die. If red is smart about it, he will spend 200 resources, get jump drive, move all of your wasp over to the other side, and then put a single Phoenix on the other side, so that when the rest of your Phoenix all get killed by the Lightning Storm, all of them will respawn over on the other side. It looks like he is taking that idea. Instead of getting a new Phoenix, it's just going to be a squad of level 6 Phoenixes on the other side. I'm surprised he's actually putting it this far forward, because we really need that Phoenix to stay alive. The wasp build, they are not getting moved, which means most of them are going to get shut down. There is a missile hover, so which means these wasps can probably move forward. Looking at our blue player here, he is continuing to be very stubborn and refusing to put down any sort of chaff. That just breaks my heart. If you're watching this video, if you're in a 1500 MMR rank, if you see something like this, just say to yourself, let's do 2 more chaff. I don't care if it's our fans, I don't care if those are crawlers, I don't even care if those are wasps of your own, but just get 2 more groups of chaff. All right, let's see how this battle unfolds. I have a feeling that it's probably going to go fairly well for our red player, despite the fact that there's a lightning storm coming in on this end. It really comes down to whether or not the blue player can actually get tower before all the Phoenixes respawns, but it looks like it can't, because all the Phoenixes are now coming down, and it's going to get tower, and it's going to swing around back. And there they are. Now we do have a huge number of Farseers, and I wonder if there's enough Farseer to actually clean this up, and I don't think so. These Phoenixes, they just hit way too hard with being level 5 or level 6s. Now, not dead yet, which means blue has one more chance. But this time it's going to be without Lightning Storm, and that is a tough one to break. 2 Typhoons with AA can actually do quite a lot of damage. The real problem, though, with the Typhoons is how are they ever going to expect to get to the Phoenixes? I mean, I'm not sure. All right, red is pulling a Hail Mary final push with a level 2 War Factory. He doesn't even need to put range on this. This War Factory is just going to move forward. And after taking care of these initial few units, the next target is going to be this tower. Yeah, I don't see a way for blue to really come back from this, at least not in this round, but in the previous round, the answer is always just a bit more chaff. And also, I think the range on a Farseer is a trap. The range on a Farseer actually allows the Farseer to shoot more than one missile when a unit of that original missile is killed. So that's just a lot of wasted shot on a Farseer. Overall, I feel like Farseer is kind of in a weak position right now. I mean, they are okay as a support unit without range, but just the sheer amount of overkill, wasted damage, and just not enough damage against larger units puts them in this weird pseudo DPS, pseudo utilitarian type of spot. All right, so here you have it. This is how when you can really push your advantage as heir against an opponent who already has AA on the fortress, but also on the arc lights. Now, I am very curious if I were able to change the outcome of this game just by putting down a few more chaff units. So I want to try not so much in round 10, but more so on round 9. I feel like round 9 is a big turning round for our blue player. So let's jump in as our blue player and let's see if we can turn this game around. Lightning Storm is a must pick here. We're going to get a few more chaff. Some of them are going to come as late arriving. We are going to get range on this chaff so that they can actually shoot against the units. We're going to put some shields down. And just put more chaff in general. Alright. We're going to get a temp range, temp speed. With 300 left over, let's just get the attack damage. Alright. So, we're looking at the board here. Lightning Storm doing work. Level 3 fans coming in, destroying things very quickly here. The Phoenixes are wasting their shot on these level 3 fans with range, and of course, yes, they can come over, but there's no way that they're going to be able to get tower because they have to kill pretty much every single fan here, which means our units are now moving closer to his tower. I think we should be able to pop tower right now, and here it is. And now with the units dead, we're going to move to the other side. All right, he's able to get tower beforehand, but we still have a lot of Farseers left over, not to mention these fans with range. Cool. Was able to win that round with just a few squads of fans with no additional help. So yeah, this just kind of tells you, I mean, even for this round, that was what, minus 1,000. If you can do this 3 more rounds, you win the game. And there's really not much your opponents can do, right? I mean, what he can do, he can put down some Stormcallers, can put down more Wraith, but at a certain point, your fans, I mean, this is level 4 fan. You can just hit Mech Rage, and now you're going to go on full fan carry. And that's a hard counter against a board like this. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this game. And if you want to see another game where we have very good breakdown of the mechanics and also the strategy behind the plays, here is another game for you. And I will see you on the next one.
Prepare your tactics. Mechabellum's calling. Deploy your fortress. The battlefield's alive with swarms.